I have feelings, good, bad, and otherwise, about Star Wars, and I have a lot. I spent the whole day talking about the whole Darth Vader situation.
Really?
Oh.
You could?
Yeah, like the part where he was totally a black guy whose name basically was James Earl Jones. Who,
right.
And we were all, and but while he was black, he was terrible and bad and awful and used to cut off white men's hands and didn't, you know, actually claim his son. But as soon as he claims his son and goes over to the good, he takes off his mask and he is white. Oh, yes, I have many feelings about that, but I will try to put them over here. Why do
Good
people...
luck with that.
Yeah. Why do people love Star Wars so much?
All of our best debates are always about policy, and it should be about policy that affects women specifically. The Romney campaign wants to talk about women and the economy. The women in this country still make 77 cents on the dollar for what men make. So if women don't make less than men?
Actually, if you start looking at the numbers, Rachel, there are lots of reasons for that.
Wait. No, wait.
Well,
don't tell me the reasons are. Do women make less than men for doing the same work?
No, because...
Wow.
Well,
okay.
Well, for example, men work an average of 44 hours a week. Women work 41 hours a week. Men go into professions like engineering, science, and math that earn more. Women want more flexible professions.
Listen, this is not a math is hard.
No. Yes, it is, actually.
No, it isn't.
Well,
No, listen.
All right, let Rachel frame it, though, the way she
right now,
laid it up.
women are making 77 cents on the dollar for what men are making.
But that's not true. If so,
let Rachel make her point.
Every greedy businessman in America would hire only women, save 25%, and be hugely profitable.
I feel like this is actually, I mean, it's weird that you're interrupting me and not letting me make my point, because we get along so well, so let me make my point.
I will.
But it is important, I think, the interruption is important, I think, because now we know, at least from both of your perspective, that women are not faring worse than men in the economy, that women aren't getting paid less for equal work. I think that's a serious basis, a difference in factual understanding of the world. But given that some of us believe that women are getting paid less than men for doing the same work, there is something called the Fair Pay Act. There was a court ruling that said the statute of limitations, if you're getting paid less than a man, if you're subject to discrimination, starts before you know that discrimination is happening, effectively cutting off your recourse to the courts. You didn't know you were being discriminated against, you can't go. The first law passed by this administration is the Fair Pay Act, to remedy that court ruling. The Mitt Romney campaign put you out as a surrogate to shore up people's feelings about this issue after they could not say whether or not Mitt Romney would have signed that bill. You're supposed to make us feel better about it. You voted against the Fair Pay Act. It's not about whether or not you have a female surrogate. It's about policy and whether or not you want to fix some of the structural discrimination that women really do face that Republicans don't believe is happening.
It's policy, is the argument.
It's policy, and I love how passionate you are. I wish you were as right about what you're saying as you are passionate about it. I really do.
That's
For
really
example,
condescending.
No.
I mean, this is a stylistic issue.
I'll tell you what.
My passion on this issue
Here's a fact.
is actually me making a factual argument on it. Alex,
may I share one fact with you? When you look at, for example, single women working in America today between the ages of, I think, 40 and 64, who makes more, men or women, on average? Men make $40,000 a year. Women make $47,000. When you take out the marriage factor, look at some economics. My point here is that we're manufacturing a political crisis to get away from what this election really wants to be about.
All right, well, let me bring...
And that's the Obama strategy in this election.
All right, but let's...
I am sick of the idea that being wealthy is risky. No, there is a huge safety net that whenever you fail will catch you and catch you and catch you. Being poor is what is risky. We have to create a safety net for poor people, and when we won't, because they happen to look different from us, it is the pervasive ugliness.
It is. Well, there's this other side.
Cannot do that.
There's the other side that needs
to be asked.
Well, the question is also being asked. A lot of attention has been placed on his candidacy, Donald Trump, in the media. Now you have reports saying, listen, what about his supporters? What are we learning about his supporters, the new people truly that he is, to his point, bringing into the fold? Gabe Gutierrez, actually, Jacob, one of our reporters, and I don't want to quote the wrong reporter here, was just out at the Trump campaign. I think we have the sound, and my team will have to tell me, where they spoke with some Trump supporters. Let's play what they said.
David Duke and people like that, they come out from under the rocks all the time around this time this year. It got nothing to do with Donald Trump. We're all Americans. I think we need to stop with all the racist stuff and the race baiting. Like me and my friend right here, we just met today, we was talking. You know, we got to stop with the racist stuff and this, that. We all Americans, man, and nobody paying David Duke no mind.
Clearly, let me just be clear here. Obviously, the majority of Donald Trump supporters are not African American. I don't know how many African Americans were in that building, but that is one person that we have chosen to cut that sound from, David.
Well, yeah, but listen, Donald Trump has...
Dateline NBC, a primetime news program, airs a story in 1992 entitled Waiting to Explode. The story includes footage demonstrating that a line of trucks produced by General Motors readily explode on impact.
To see for ourselves what might happen in a side impact crash, Dateline NBC hired the Institute for Safety Analysis to conduct crash demonstrations. Unlike GM tests, the fuel tanks were filled with real gasoline. Look what happened. At impact, a small hole was punctured in the tank. According to our experts, the pressure of the collision and the crushing of the gas tank forced gasoline to spew from the gas cap. The fuel then erupted into flames when ignited by the impacting car's headlight.
After the program airs, one of the firemen at the taping of the crash contacts GM. The conversation inspires a full-scale investigation. 3 months later, NBC is forced to reveal their role in fabricating the news.
NBC's contractor did put incendiary devices under the trucks to ensure that there would be a fire if gasoline were released from the truck's gas tank.
We said the crash, quote, forced gasoline to spew from the fuel cap, end quote. GM says since the gas cap was the wrong cap for the GM filler tube, and because the gas tank was overfilled, the cap came off when the impact occurred.
We agree with GM that we should have told our viewers about these devices.
The Dateline reporter, however, said, quote, at impact, a small hole was punctured in the tank, unquote. GM has now x-rayed that tank and found no hole.
We acknowledge the placing of the incendiary devices under the truck was a bad idea from start to finish.
That's our new policy, and we'll be right back.
Last Thursday, in an attempt to talk about the context for the current turmoil in the Middle East, we showed a series of maps of the changing geography in that region. We realized after we went off the air, the maps were not factually accurate, and we regret using them.
Regular guy. You can't tax my trailer.
Joe, I got to ask you about one other thing.
Sure.
Ron Paul, you served with him.
Yep.
Tell me what the guy's like, because I want to tell you, if you mess with Ron Paul on television or online, you are going to feel the wrath of some serious followers. We've been dealing with this the last few weeks at CNBC. We did an online poll after the debate of who won the debate. Ron Paul dominated the debate, and some of my colleagues at CNBC thought that there was something wrong with that. They took the poll down. I want to tell you, my email box, thousands and thousands and thousands of email like I haven't seen from any other, followers of Chris Dodd or Bill Richardson or Joe Biden.
When you have this sort of dueling policy proposals and fights about who's going to be more progressive on these various policy items, that has been a product of this primary.
Yeah, absolutely. And a product of the Obama era. I mean, think about it, Chris. Both of the two Democratic candidates agree that there should be a $15 an hour minimum wage. That isn't something they're arguing about. It's something they both agree on. And they're bickering over whether the union that supported the fight for 15 is more on her side or more on Bernie's side.
Everybody thought heading into it that the challenge for Hillary Clinton and for the moderator, Lester Holt, and for the media covering it was going to be raw fact-checking, right? The number of untrue things that Donald Trump has said on the campaign trail that he's not used to getting called on live and in real time. He did say a lot of untrue things. Bill Clinton did not sign NAFTA. George H.W. Bush signed NAFTA. Donald Trump did, in fact.
Calling it a defining moment, President Clinton, with great fanfare, signed legislation putting the North American Free Trade Agreement into law.
This is what I call trouble. I'm about to start here. I'm told by the experts on numbers around here at NBC and elsewhere that come June 7th, the day of the California primary, which your candidate, I totally understand, wants to get to and maybe have a chance of knocking off Hillary at that event, a big last hurrah, that at 8 o'clock that night Eastern time, the networks will be prepared, including this one, to announce that Hillary Clinton has now gotten over the top, that she will have won the nomination in numbers. It's done. What will that do to turnout if that's 5 o'clock Pacific time with 3 more hours to vote in California? Who will be least likely to vote? Sanders people from 5 to 8 people or Hillary? I've heard both theories.
Well, I think
your candidate?
Well, I think it'll depress turnout on both sides. Whenever there's no contest, I think you get depressed turnout on both sides. But it'll be an inaccurate description of the state of the race, frankly, because all we have.
So the networks will be wrong.
Yes, because all we have from superdelegates is essentially a poll. You aren't allocating delegates based on a poll in California. Yeah. But you are allocating delegates based on a poll of superdelegates.
Okay, and I don't want to have this conversation. I thought it would be obvious to do that this would be a problem for you guys by saying.
Well, not yet, Chris. But let me tell you, I think it's wrong, and we have.
You think it's wrong for the networks to announce who's winning?
No, to make a presumptive nominee announcement when in fact that's not the case. The superdelegates vote at the convention. Let's wait till people vote, including the superdelegates, before we call it over.
In the background, we have Chris Matthews. He actually labeled our news organization, which is neither left or right, a racist right-wing hate group. Let's find out why.
Welcome back to Harvard. The crazies are still on the rise. A study by the Southern Poverty Law Center finds that the number of anti-government patriot groups has exploded over the last 4 years. According to the study, these groups typically believe that the federal government is conspiring to take Americans' guns away from them and destroy their liberties as it paves the way for a global one-world government. Well, these are groups like the Constitution Party, We Are Change.
New York City.
WRC.
No,
What's WRC?
We Are Change.
What? I don't know what that is.
You did bring us up once.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what you are.
Well, just one thing. You brought us up as a right-wing racist group on your channel.
I don't know anything about you.
You said We Are Change is racist and right-wing teabaggers.
You have that on tape?
Yes, you did say that. Can you tell me why you think that of my and of myself?
Do you have that on tape?
Yes, we do.
Hear it.
We could pull it up right now. MSNBC slanders We Are Change. We are
MSNBC.
Yes, you on your desk were sitting and you mentioned We Are Change, and you said We Are Change is a group of right-wing racist teabaggers. I really would like.
When was that?
This was when you had Mark Potak on, and our group was not related in any way, shape, or
Mark Potak's with the Southern
Poverty Law Center. Yeah, I mean we could Google it right now, but you did say that on record, on air. If we just look up Chris Matthews, and I really would love just to get a clarification
Tell me about your group.
Well, we're independent.
I obviously knew about it that night for the program, for the issue that came up.
Yeah,
just a minute. I thought you made me think that you were WRC in Washington.
Well, we're in New York.
Well, you should have told me that.
But I really would love a clarification on why you think we're racist when we're independent, grassroots, not supported by left or right. Bill O'Reilly called me a jihad-loving liberal on Fox News. So it's interesting that you
watch this debate and you're interrupting my attempt to watch it. So let me watch it.
I know, but you did slander our news organization. I'll look up the thing and I'll show it to you.
I don't want to see it.
Well, we just want some clarification for your slandering.
You're not going to get it from me tonight.
But if you're going to say something about my organization that slanders us.
The caricature of the left as being as vociferous as the right is something that...
I don't think that's the caricature of the left. I really don't.
Okay.
I think the caricature of the left is one that is slightly... that they use as a cudgel. Didn't you hate when the Republicans used to use the phrase Democrat? Democrat.
The Democrat Party has the word rat.
Just seemed dickish.
Yeah.
Democrat Party. Or when you spoke out against the war, there was a subtle undertone of you're un-American. You don't want to win the war on terror. Well, I think that what also comes out sometimes from the other side is teabagger. Now that's, I think, derogatory, and I don't think anybody would mistake it for that, for anything other than that. And it's been used on this network quite frequently by hosts, by guests.
You don't think it was
without?
You don't think it was funny that they were calling them? They were saying teabag the White House before the White House teabags you.
I thought it was funny for a day.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny for a day.
Funny enough to play the John Waters clip of the teabagging thing on the bar.
For a day.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have run with it, with guests and things for months.
I didn't run with it for months.
No, but you're part.
But I got criticized for it for months.
Well, because you kind of made hay of it. You made more hay of it than maybe, you know, that
took the joke too far.